PM. Guess what? It's just gone 10 o'clock on the 8th of December 2024, and it's time for What a Week's News That Was, with me talking about the week's news that was from the week that was. That is still, to be fair, but was particularly. Apparently I'm online. And what we're going to talk about is the initial headlines of the week, and then we'll look at the news that makes you go ooh, and all that kind of stuff. So basically the fun stuff. But first, unfortunately, we have to get through the actual news, which I'll be honest with you, once again, has not been inspiring. So we start on Monday, the 2nd of December. France is to go through a vote of no confidence in its government, as it is currently in a financial crisis. Who thought? It was just yours. Greg Wallace apologises over his middle-class women of a certain age. What do you call it? We slagged him off for it last week, but his misplaced thing. Yeah, it wasn't the best thing he's ever done. So apologising, probably a better thing to do. But it's got to be said that I kind of wonder where this has come from, where it's going. Is this a witch hunt on Greg Wallace, or is he just not a nice person? No doubt we will find out in time, but don't hold your breath. It's the BBC after all. Last night, which would be Sunday, Biden gave a full pardon to Hunter, his son, saying he's a victim of politically motivated justice, and that it would not happen it wouldn't have happened if he'd not been president. Trump, needless to say, was less than impressed, because he's been saying that about his own trials for a considerable length of time as well. There's more protests in Tbilisi in Georgia over the government's U-turn on talking about joining the European Union. Fianna Fáil win Ireland election, but they'll need to form a coalition. We're still waiting for that to be formed, so don't hold your breath. And Keir Starmer lights a Christmas tree with the personality of a dog turd. Oh, join in now. 5, 4. I'm doing it more excitedly than he was. 3, 2, 1. Whee! It worked. Really not good. Really dreadful. Anyway, he was our, I never said president then. I was our Prime Minister, so what can you do? Tuesday the 3rd of December, South Korea, martial law. Utter chaos ensued. President called it, saying the opposition is undermining him and links to the North Korea. But now it's not martial law again. It was like martial law for about 30 seconds. It was a really bizarre thing. I mean, you always think of South Korea as being the sensible one of the two. Turns out, nah, they're not. BBC won't broadcast Christmas specials as more allegations of inappropriate behaviour are aimed at Greg Wallace. Trump has asked a judge to completely dismiss his case of money to the porn star, as he's saying it was politically motivated. It wasn't. Well, it was, basically, but it wasn't at the same time. We got a couple of people in the chat room. It's just popped up. Called it out, Top Cat. Hello, called it out, Top Cat. Sounds like you've had fun. Drew Frequency. No, this is bad hair day from wearing a Christmas hat. Don't wear Christmas hats. It just makes your hair go horrid. Mind you, I won't have any hair in a couple of years, so might as well enjoy this horrid hair while I can. Wednesday the 4th. France government is overthrown after a vote of no confidence in PM after a disastrous budget. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? Only we ain't going to do a vote of no confidence in them because they've got too many people. A targeted shooting of United Healthcare in New York, leader of, was a premeditated hit. Possible impeachment for South Korea president after the failed martial law. It's all very complicated. Really weird. Letby is questioned again on more possible crimes while in prison. not the crimes while in prison. She was questioned while in prisons about crimes, including more murders of babies and more weird events going on around babies in not just the Royal Countess of Chester Hospital, but also a couple of other places where she'd worked. Government win tax votes of farmers by hundreds of votes. Labour, as far as I'm concerned, not fit for purpose. Thursday the 5th of December, Brian Thompson shooter, he's the guy from United Healthcare, is being hunted in New York. It turns out that the company that he runs, despite him doing videos saying how wonderful they are and how they pay out and all that kind of thing, are known for not paying out. And they're wondering if that is one of the reasons why he was targeted for assassination. Starmer says Britain is broken, but not beyond repair, and he has 6, God knows what they're called these terms, milestones, targets, I don't know, aims, whatever BS he's coming out with this week. Is it a relaunch? We don't know. But basically, more homes, growing the economy, more neighbourhood policing, early years education being improved, reduced NHN waiting lists, cleaner power, and he calls it a plan for change. They've been there 6 months, thereabouts. I said he wouldn't last 6 months. He's already outlasted where I thought he would last. But no mention, as many people pointed out, of the main thing that people are worried about, which is the migrant crisis. Whether you're, quote, racist, or whether you're just concerned about people risking their lives by getting in these flimsy boats coming across the channel, particularly at this time of year as well. Didn't mention that. We're not talking about that anymore. Yeah, he needs to go. A massive earthquake near San Francisco, and a tsunami warning was given out. Thankfully nothing came of it, and it was about 30-50 miles away, but people are still expecting the big one to come soon, San Andreas Fault and all that. Islamist rebels are moving closer to Damascus. This is in Syria. Meanwhile, we got to Friday the 6th, and Storm Dara makes ground, and the government give out mobile red warnings for about 3 million people. First time they've used it for a real crisis. They did that real weird experiment last year, which was weird. Some people got it, some people didn't. I suppose you find out if you're popular or not popular by what the government think about you. But anyway, I had to rescue my bin as well on Friday morning. I had this crashing and banging. I looked out my window, and the bin was basically about to go down the street. So I ran downstairs. I put a hoodie on, a zip-up hoodie. I had those things you wear in bed, those trousers things, and slippers. And then I went out in the gale. Yeah, that wasn't the best choice I've ever had. I expect me to have cold or pneumonia anytime soon. Got very, very wet. The rebels take Homs in Syria, and the Romanian Constitutional Court annuls the election result after far-right accused of mass social media input from a foreign country, unnamed, but Russia is up there, apparently. So a lot of people are protesting because right-wing are going to take over, unfortunately, everywhere, because people are fed up with the left-wing softies that are currently around, including in this country. What we need is a Trump-esque kind of person here, just for one term, just to kind of level the playing field and sort things out a bit, because it's just got a little bit silly. A hunt for a New York shooter is now in multiple states. The police fear that he has fled New York, and he could now be anywhere pretty much in the entire country, although he did escape on a electric bike, although I don't think he would have got out the state on an electric bike, so I assume he's found some other form of transport. But either way, the hunt is widening, and it may even get wider still. Reports on Saturday the 7th say that rebels are about to take Damascus, which is incredible. You think of the distances involved, and these people are just taking over, and it just seems like weird. I'm equally happy and concerned about what's going on. Storm Dara hits the UK and Wales full force, as already mentioned, as Rescue Me Bin, including, sadly, the death of two men, one of whom was a football coach. Notre Dame Cathedral reopens 5 years after the huge fire, meeting the impossible target set by Macron at the time, who said, we'll have this rebuilt in 5 years. And you're like, have you seen the state of it? It's a bloody medieval building. You're not going to build that again in 5 years. But, well, fair play. Maybe the workers now are finished at Notre Dame. They can come to Wigan and finish Wigan Town Centre off if they can work that quick. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Sunday the 8th, the rebels depose Syrian regime as they take Damascus. Is Assad in Moscow? Rumours are he is in Moscow. Other rumours are he ain't. And will things improve for the population of Syria? The one thing that worries me is that this group who've taken over are Islamic extremists. So it could go the way of Afghanistan, in which case human rights no longer exist. Or they could be reasonable and actually have elections or just run the country fairly. It's early days yet, but they've been described as a terrorist organisation by the UK government. So that's going well, isn't it? Hundreds of fallen trees, loads of train cancellation and disruption on roads, motorways, after Storm Dara finally leaves the country. And it is possibly one of the worst, longest storms that I've experienced. I mean, it literally didn't stop being windy for, 2 solid days, 48 hours, which I've never experienced before. Especially in Wigan. We don't have weather in Wigan. But we've certainly had weather this time round. Anyway, let's move on now to the fun stuff. Oh no, I've done it all wrong. Oh no, done it all wrong. I forgot to press my button thing. Never mind. We're on the walk stuff now. We need to do that. No, we need to stop that. We need to do that. And we need to do that, because I don't know what that is. We'll get rid of that. There we go. So, this is the news that makes you go, matron, and all that kind of thing. Some funny stuff, some serious stuff, and some stuff that makes you go, ugh, and loads of crap about aliens. Aliens don't exist. Got much chance of seeing an alien as you have seen a bloody ghost. And you ain't going to see one of them anytime soon. No, joking. Or am I? Oh yeah, obviously. So, first lot of news is shocking. Robin Williams used to play Call of Duty and Counter-Strike all night because of his mental health issues. It would keep him, give him something to do. But it was said, he did say once, that getting my ass kicked by an 11-year-old is very humbling. And let's be honest, if you've ever played Call of Duty or other games like that, you're getting screamed at by someone who hasn't reached the age of puberty, it does get a bit annoying, which is why I don't play them games anymore. On this day, 1983, MTV aired the full 40-minute version of Michael Jackson's Thriller video for the first time. Around about the same time, that's not Michael Jackson, by the way, I think that is the mother of Sylvester Stallone, might not be. Yeah, it's Jackie. Sorry. I don't think it is, actually. But anyway, it's not Michael Jackson, that's me, I think. But I remember I was working in a children's home. My first job I ever had is I was working in the kitchens. And Channel 4 aired it. And I come into work. And they went, come in and sit down, look at this, we've recorded it. And it was the first time I'd ever watched a video that had been recorded. And it was on a Betamax. Which sadly didn't stand the test of time. But yeah, not long after that I got myself a VHS video, rented it from Grenada. Keir Starmer's Labour government has collapsed business confidence to levels not seen since the pandemic. So this is what the Conservatives are saying that Labour have done since they took power. Now, you've got to take everything with a huge pinch of salt, and I mean a massive pinch of salt, because it's one party calling out another party. So yeah, the biggest pinch of salt you've ever seen. Not quite a salt cellar of salt, certainly not a salt mine. There's no China involved here, so we don't have to worry about salt mines or anything like that. But I do know businesses who've said that the wage increase, or the cost of them increasing, has gone up by tens of thousands of pounds because of the minimum wage rising and the 1% increase in national insurance contributions. And that is for not overly large businesses, and a few people told me in confidence that means they're going to lose staff in the new year, get Christmas out of the way, and then they're going to start losing staff in order to pay for it. So unemployment's going to go up, so well done, Rachel Reeves, you're an absolute slag. Hashtag just saying. 10 of the happiest jobs in the world, and how much you can earn. So this is Australia saying that the best jobs in the world are, and these are ridiculous to be fair. What's that doing? That shouldn't be on. Let's get rid of that. Number 1, a tour guide. I can imagine that's the most boring job in the world, because you get asked the same questions twice, 3 times a day. Oh, when was that built? How long has that been there? Oh, who looks after it? Who owns that? Oh, have we done yet? Where's the pub? All that kind of thing. Event planner. What the hell? Fashion designer. Best jobs ever? Early childhood educator. So that's like nursery. I can get that one. Chief executive. Well, freelance writer. I do a bit of that. I wouldn't say it's the best job in the world. Some page, to be fair. Social media manager. That's just stress. Physiotherapist. Why would that be a fantastic job? You listen to other people's problems all the time. Consultants, well, yeah, you can just be on the phone all day and earn £100,000 a month. It's great. Interior designer. I mean, where did they get these jobs from? Train driver, bus driver, fireman, or fighter. Sorry, sexist. Not allowed to be sexist anymore. Oh, so annoying. But yeah, Australia. You're talking shite, mate. Breaking news. Greg Wallace has apologised for any offence that I caused after posting a video saying complaints about his behaviour came from a handful of middle-class women of a certain age. Better late than never, I suppose. And I did say this at the time. Prunella Scales is not well enough to grasp husband Timothy West has died. And that was the one thing I was concerned about, because she's suffering from either Alzheimer's or dementia. And they've been married for like over 60 years. Sadly, Timothy West died a month or 2 ago. And I did say at the time, I hope Prunella actually can grasp what's happened. Or, I said, maybe it's better she can't. But I think the confusion and everything's going to be absolutely horrible. Oh, Betamax were better than VHS. You're right, Dree Frequency, but VHS won. It's all just a storm in a D cup. Greg Wallace and Greg's. So there's a picture of Greg Wallace out of outside of Greg's even, with muffins, cream pies, lemon jizzle, fancy tarts, crusty baps, iced fingers, and beef slice. You couldn't make it up. If you live to be 90, this is how many weeks you will live. So it'll be 52 weeks a year, sometimes 53. But that's literally the number of weeks you would live, which is a lot of weeks. Because if you don't live to be 90, you won't see all them. But never mind, let's not worry about it. It has merit to have given back Brazil's position. It says a lot about Lando as a driver and as a person. No matter how much he's criticised, he continues to live up to being a gentleman on and off track. And that was Carlos Sainz repaying Oscar for Brazil, or rather Lando repaying Oscar for Brazil. So basically, if you don't follow F1, you can switch off for a few seconds. It's still a sport I follow. It's been a fantastic season this season, to be fair. And I think the results turned out right. I'm glad Max got another win. of the championship, and I'm really chuffed that McLaren have actually seized the Constructors' Championship as well. But whilst Lando was in the hunt for the championship against Max, the lead was swapped by Oscar Oscar give Lando the win, so that Lando could close a couple of points up, and maybe those could have made all the difference to the championship. As it happened, it didn't make a lot of difference, which is why Lando paid it back. And I thought it was very sportsmanlike, and I do like Lando. I think he's a good guy. Sometimes he's a bit too honest. He criticises himself too much, as does Charles Leclerc for that matter. But overall, I think this current breed of drivers we've got are really cool. Jimmy Carr is not impressed with the woke. Woke people are like an infection on comedy. They come after comedians for things they don't find funny, instead of just not laughing and moving on. Comedy is meant to push boundaries, but the woke crowd wants to keep those boundaries in place and close the gate behind them. And he's not wrong. I have no time for anyone who's woke at all. It's just like, if you get offended by it, don't look at it, don't watch it. I used to say that about Mary Whitehouse as well, but anyway, that's another story for another day. Brain rot revealed as Oxford's word of the year. Now, someone's pointed out it's 2 words, not 1 word. But apparently we've had 2 words, not 1 word before. England's prestigious Oxford University has opted to go down the cheeky route, appealing to Gen Zs after announcing brain rot as its 2024 word of the year. Allegedly coined in 1854, the term in the digital age has come to widely signify the impact of overconsumption of material, particularly online consumption. You're welcome. I'm doing brain rot whilst giving you brain rot whilst looking online to see more brain rot. Yeah, no. Sorry. Just made me laugh. But yeah, they are right, and I'm as guilty as anyone else. Man who unwrapped hideous Mars bar given compensation. I think it was about 20 quid or something. But yeah, the guy's opened a Mars bar and it's had no ripples on it. And it does look rather peculiar. I'm trying to think what I thought of when I first saw the picture. It certainly wasn't a Mars bar anyway. I can't have Mars bars anyway because it's milk chocolate and I can't have milk chocolate. On this day, 1984, One released their hit single, Last Christmas. And there's a picture there of Charles and Diana. Because, well, they do look like, they do look like George and Andrew. Massive away win for the little fella. Gladiator 2, Paddington 3, outside a cinema. Obviously it's not a score, it's just the fact that these films came out at the same time, which is hilarious. Officer fired after guilty verdict. Senior Constable Christian White has been officially removed from New South Wales Police Force by Commissioner Karen Webb. It comes after he was found guilty of the manslaughter for tasering 95-year-old Claire Noland in a Cooming nursing home in 2023, and we covered that at the time, and I said, you know, that guy deserves to go to prison for what he did. It's basically, I wouldn't even say manslaughter to be fair, but at least he's been found guilty of something. Whether he actually gets sentenced or not is another thing, but I think he should. Any persons, in brackets except players, caught collecting golf balls on this course will be prosecuted and have their balls removed. I mean, that's slightly excessive for the crime, but yeah, we'll go with it. Cracking tits, Gromit. Greg Wallace and Gromit. And there's an AI meme there of Greg Wallace. So saying cracking toast, you see. Got sad news today. After 7 years of medical training, my good friend has been struck off after one minor indiscretion. He slept with one of his patients and now can no longer work on the job he loves. What a waste of time and training and money. A genuine nice guy and a brilliant vet. Ah. Obviously it's made up, it's not real. R.I.P. Peter Crouch, another meme. And Peter responded, right, this goes viral every few months and I have to tell all my family it's a floodlight. Because it's basically a tarpaulin, very long tarpaulin being carried out by various men off a football pitch. Because Peter Crouch is an incredibly tall person. What your toilet sees while you look at our memes or look on your phone or just sit on your toilet. Yeah, you don't want to look at that for too long. Imagine refusing service to this absolute hungriest demographic that you'll ever have walk into your restaurants. And they put on the sign on the restaurants, if you have a smell of marijuana or on you, we will not serve you. Now, I've never done any kind of drug like that, only alcohol, and but I do know about the munchies, and yeah, they're right. That is your best demographic. You're going to make loads of money from them, although they might be too chilled to actually pay you, so maybe not them. They don't make annuals like they used to, and we've got a Rolf Harris annual, a Jim will Fix It annual, a Gary Glitter annual, and It's a Knocker annual. And they're right, they don't make them anymore. God's sake. Where do these people get these ideas from? If it's sent by a ship, then it's a cargo. If it's sent by road, it's a shipment, says Dave Allen. And a wise man he was indeed. A very dry but very amusing comedian. Meanwhile, Don Warrington has defended the classic British sitcom Rising Damp, arguing it should be not altered for modern audiences. He believed the show, which aired in the 1970s, reflects a specific cultural context that is integral to its identity. Warrington warns that changing the content to fit contemporary sensibilities would undermine its original charm and social commentary. He stresses the importance of preserving its authentic voice as it offers valuable insight into the past and challenges viewers to engage with the complexities of its era. So yeah, he's right, which we've said all along. We've always said this, I've always said this as well, that the TV shows of the 1970s, and to be fair, Rising Damp was very much in the vein of, and Rudolph, who's the actor in EastEnders, he was the black guy in Love Thy Neighbour, and he said a similar thing as well. It was of the time. But if you watch them programmes, it's always the white guy who comes off looking like the absolute melon. It's not the black guy. The black guy's always smarter and cleverer and all that kind of stuff. And in a way, it was ahead of its time. It wasn't being racist for the sake of being racist. It was being racist to show how ridiculous racism is. Yeah, I think that's what it meant. Anyway, I don't know. Mummy, what's a right-winger nutter? A mentally challenged person who lacks critical thinking, thrives on fear-mongering and gets duped very easily into believing any controversial thing without evidence, dear. Guess where that was posted up? Yeah, left-wing nonsense propaganda shite. That's what left-wingers believe, so, you know, they're as bad as anyone else. During the Great Depression, notorious gangster Al Capone financed a soup kitchen for the homeless. Who knew he had a heart? I mean, it wasn't much of a heart, but it was still a heart. Buildings are getting more and more ridiculous. The Big Bend is a proposed skyscraper in New York, which will become one of the world's tallest buildings. And the idea is it actually bends over to and it's right at the entrance or the end of Central Park, which will be absolutely infuriating if you've just bought an apartment in the apartment block next to it, which is the tall pointy thing, which is dead thin, because your view's not going to be blocked by this other one. So stop building buildings like that. And anyway, New York is kind of built on marshland. How deep are they going to have to go for the foundations? Broncos shirtless training banned. Topless training banned by new head coach. Aussie footy fans are absolutely outraged this morning after newly appointed Brisbane Broncos coach Michael Maguire revealed he's cracking down on the team's rock star culture by banning players from training shirtless. They're in Australia, it's warm, it's hot, and they're doing training. I don't see what the issue is. I didn't even know they trained shirtless, to be fair, but yeah, they can't anymore, they've got to put the tops on. And the funny thing was, I can't remember whether I caught it on a TV show or whether I caught it on like a clip on social media or whatever, but there was an Australian female reporter, and she was there live, and the guys in the studio were saying, well, you know, what's the word, what are people feeling like around there? And she said, I don't know about anyone else, but I'm devastated. And I thought, oh, yeah, brilliant. Anyway, the good news is, in order to, you know, keep people up with the six packs and you know, all the manly bodies and all that, I've decided to do the rest of the show shirtless. No, I'm only joking. I wouldn't do that to you. But it does seem absolutely bonkers that this is making news in Australia. Mind you, they've got nothing else to worry about really, apart from the tanking economy, mass migration, food shortages, and everything else. But other than that, let's worry about sports players not having to wear tops instead of not wearing tops. Grace has said, "I've just completed my thesis at the University of Pooh." Obviously it was Liverpool, but someone took off all the letters, so it says University of Pooh. And she's completed her theses. It's very clever. We do like stuff like that. This is very clever as well. Go top left first and then work your way across. So top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. Do you ever look at things and wonder how they got there? So there's a picture of a car that's very high up in a tree. There's a picture of a horse that's got two legs one side of a gate or a fence, and two legs the other side of the same gate or fence, and it's kind of squeezed in between. You've got a cat that's just wrapped round a Venetian blind, and then you've got Keir Starmer outside number 10. Yeah, how did that happen? I didn't get this at first. You have to think about it for a minute. Be careful when buying online. I ordered the joy sign to fit in with my festive theme, and they sent me this tacky yol one instead. And it took me a while to figure out what they were on about. Until I realised they've just put it up backwards. It does say joy, they've just put it up the wrong way around. I thought I'd explain that to you, just in case you didn't get it, because it took me a while. We ain't got all day, let's be honest. What are we up to? Oh, we've not had a Banksy for a while, so here's a quick Banksy for you. There you go. CS Gas, and there's a picture there of the miserable girl from Les Mis. So she's living up to her part. Meanwhile, Reform UK overtakes Labour in the national poll for the first time, allegedly. It's not surprising with Keir Starmer at the helm of a party that's completely open borders and would happily hand power over to Brussels, says Ben Habib, a former MEP Brexiteer. And yeah, what he's doing at the minute, Keir Starmer, is just bonkers. Not as bonkers as this police car, though. You can't park there, mate. Scottish humour there. It's a police car that's ended up through a wall and in a river. You can't park there, mate. Right, next, we've got Tokyo is set to introduce a 4-day work week for government employees in its latest push to help working mothers and boost record low fertility rates. So it's to boost fertility and family time. So basically you get a day off, and what you have to do is have whoopee with your partner for the whole day. I mean, I was lucky if I managed 5 minutes, but anyway, the whole day, because you get a full day off, just in order to make sure you can get pregnant so you can have more babies and keep the population of Japan going. And the problem is it's that expensive to bring kids into the world that a lot of countries are going down the reducing rate, but the population, because of baby boomers, is getting older. Singer Donny Osmond considered getting arrested for having illegal substances. Donny Osmond said he once thought about getting arrested for drugs possession in a bid to give his music career a bit of a boost, but was later relieved he didn't end up doing it. I mean, yeah, my career's on a bit of a downer. What can I do? Oh yeah, I'll pretend that I'm a druggie, and no. A psychic night axed due to unforeseen circumstances. People are in stitches. Tickets to the events at Nova Arms in Digwall, Scotland were sold out, and punters took to social media to chime in with some gags when the psychics had to cancel because of unforeseen circumstances. The psychics, for sake. Doesn't matter if you're a seagull, you can still have babies, or lay an egg anyway. World's oldest known wild bird lays an egg against all the odds at the age of 74. The exciting news came as a shock to the birdwatching community. Wisdom species typically only live between 12 and 40 years, and this bird was first tagged in 1956. So they think it's the oldest, certainly the oldest tagged bird in the world, and it's just laid an egg, which is great. Is it? I don't know. Mars region has perfect conditions for aliens, but underground, expert says. The new research by scientists at the University of Barcelona claims to have found a location on the red planet that has life-sustaining levels of heat, water and energy. Have we even discovered there is water on Mars yet? Or are we just... This expert... Oh yeah, and handily, they're all living underground so we can't see them. Yeah, brilliant. Genius. They'd have to have a landing platform or something, wouldn't they? Which we should be able to see. We can see that. Maybe. A real face of man who inspired Santa Claus unveiled after 1,700 years. The true face of the man that inspired Santa Claus can be seen for the first time after scientists reconstructed his likeness from his skull. Lovely. How do we know it's the same bloody person? And they've just put a white beard on an old guy. I mean, it's, you know. Talking of which, Brits set for cheapest fuel in years as festive season set to get cheaper. Fuel prices are set to be the lowest they've been in years despite a price hike in November, say experts, making the Christmas drive home easier and cheaper than ever. I've noticed that Tesco in Wigan have put the price up by 2p a litre in the last week. So I'm not exactly sure when this price drop is going to happen, but we will keep our breath baited and held, because that's what we do with our breath. We bait it and held it. Now I'm going to speak to people of a certain age. Hi T. Hi Angela, didn't know you were there. Sorry mate. Sorry. Experts bust cancer-causing myth about dairy products sold in Tesco and Aldi. Social media users have protested an additive in dairy products that they say cause cancer and infertility. But experts say it has debunked the myths and say it's safe to use. Now, I'm not sure if it's the same thing that I was hearing about earlier on in the week, where they're giving some additive to the feed for cows, dairy cows, which stops them burping and farting to help with the global warming. But people are objecting to the fact that the milk could be contaminated. But the scientists and experts have all said that this doesn't go into the milk, so it's completely harmless. Right then, people of a certain age, do you remember sterilised milk? Do you remember milk that come in stubby bottles, a bit like the bottles we've got now, but they had a steel cap on them, and it was called sterilised milk? And do you remember when you got to the bottom of the sterilised milk and you tipped it out and it was the last bit, there was always a bit of grit at the bottom? Where did that come from? Additives to food. So I've absolutely no idea why they think this is a safe thing to do. I stopped drinking milk about that time because of that. Because you're like, what the hell is that? It looked like bird shit at the bottom of your glass bottle. What happened to Wigan Watch, Urban Blondes? Nothing, it's just nothing's happened. I was going to do one on Friday, but ended up going out getting drunk instead. There will be one coming this week, but literally nothing's happened at all. So I was not, hello, welcome to Wigan Watch, nothing's happened, bye. It's not worth it, is it really? But yeah, it did look like bird droppings, and you couldn't wash it out either. And that was some additive. It was disgraceful. Oh, hi Alan, you've dropped in as well. Everyone's dropping in now. But yeah, so you have to be of a certain age to remember sterilised milk and that horrible gritty stuff at the bottom. Talking of gritty stuff, the ancient Greece Elgin marbles could head home over fears. UK will cave in over row. Prime Minister Keir Starmer may cave in over the Elgin marbles war with Greece after he met with Greek counterpart Kyriakos Misokis in number 10 on Tuesday. The Elgin marbles is a weird one. I think if Greece say they can actually look after them and we'll put them somewhere safe and they'll be secure, give them back. They're not ours anyway. But if they can't, we keep them. We're looking after them for them. But if we do give them back, hello, it's 2024. We can scan them. We can 3D print them. There you go. Just call me a peacemaker. Oh, what's that great at the bottom of Guinness? Joking. Putin knows he would be overwhelmed and lose a world war, says a UK military chief. The head of the British military has warned Vladimir Putin knows he would be overwhelmed and lose world war if he declared the third nuclear age. But the problem you've got is he don't care. That's basically it. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 Season 1 Reloaded released, and there's patch notes. Black Ops 6 players can enjoy Season 1 Reloaded, which kicks off today for multiplayer and zombies. Here's everything you need to know on the latest Call of Duty. And you're like, why are you putting this up? Because is it me, or does that person there look like Sarah Connor? Linda Hamilton off of the movies. And I'm like, are you allowed to do that? Are you allowed to use someone else's image without actually saying it's them? I don't know. Ours went ages ago, but H&M are going to close all their UK stores in a new high street blow. A high street store particularly popular among young Gen Z shoppers have announced they will be closing all their stores across the UK in part of a wider business plan. Basically, they won't have to pay the staff anymore because their wages are going up massively. Don't not mention this. And the tax burden and everything else. Business rates as well. 1 in 5 straight men don't like vaginas, according to a survey. The shocking... Why is it shocking? Statistic come from a survey carried out by the University of New Brunswick, which asked 200 heterosexual men a list of questions relating to women's privates. I have to admit, I am 100% in that. I think men's bits look worse, but I'm not a fan of ladies' bits. And I'm never, Anyway, twisted Vladimir Putin praises Serbian move that blames Ukraine for the war. Serbian movie that blames Ukraine for the war. The film, which is named People of Christ Our Time, had its world premiere in Belgrade, Serbia. It's said to be a documentary recording the tragic developments in Ukraine. But it makes it look like Ukraine wanted the war because that's what they want, isn't it? It's not. Don't be stupid. Suspect linked to shooting of CEO Brian Thompson pictured for the first time. Following the grim murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson on Wednesday, December the 4th, the alleged gunman has been pictured for the first time getting off a bus in New York. Hopefully they catch this guy, because you kind of worry that he might just be a one-man. It might be like Equalizer. He might just be looking for CEOs of companies that have upset him. Shocking stuff that's happened there. I appreciate that people are not overly enamoured with the company, but murder? Nah. Human hearts have little brains and keep beating outside the body. Scientists say the heart appears to have a little brain that controls it and has a key role in maintaining and managing your heartbeat, in a discovery that's been described as groundbreaking. I always thought it did, because otherwise how does it know? I mean, literally, how does it know? When people are brain dead, the heart still goes. How does it know? Hey, think about it. Crikey. Plus, when we dissected a heart in, it was an ox heart in school, I found a little brain. No, I didn't. Talking of little brain. Exact date, Donald Trump will release files on UFO and potential ETs. Danny Sheehan has been involved in bringing UFO whistleblowers to the to the United States Congress, and has now revealed when incoming President Donald Trump could tell all. Probably never, because there's nothing to tell. A funeral home closed as cops discover 18 decomposing human corpses and some pets. A US funeral home has been shut down after 18 decomposing human bodies and 2 pets were found by the police. Multiple families are now seeking legal action. Now, I don't think it's the same story as last year when we had something similar, but it does seem to be shocking because your loved one has passed. Just seeing that divers are looking for him, maybe he jumped into the Hudson. I'm not sure. He seemed quite cocky about it, really, to be fair. So, although you never know. There was a thing in America last year, early this year, I can't remember when it was, and it was a similar kind of thing, and it was basically, all these bodies were found in various, it was more than, it was about 50, I think, but, if someone passes away, and you get the ashes back, it's just a little box with dust in it. There's no proof that it is actually, your relative. And how do you know that they don't just, they don't sweep out the ashes every time they cremate someone. So you might have some of your loved one's ashes in there, but you might have someone else's ashes if they cremated 3 or 4 people in a day, as well as the coffin and everything else as well. But your loved one, as it would appear, may not have been cremated, and you may just get a box of ashes from a complete stranger. It's a lot of trust in funerals, and maybe that's why in our family, although it's a tradition I intend to stop with immediate effect, they always open the coffin when the coffin comes to the house. I don't like that coffin coming to the house either, if I'm brutally honest with you. But it's just weird. The weird thing is, they do all that in my family, and then once someone's buried or cremated, that's it. They never discuss, never go visit the grave, never. Nothing. It's very weird. Well, families are weird, aren't they? Hidden footage of iconic British comedians to be aired for the first time ever. Previously never seen before clips will be broadcast as part of a documentary to mark the 40th anniversary of the death of Tommy Cooper. That was 40 years ago. I mean, if you said 30 years ago, I'd be like, yeah, it's about 30 years. But 40 years ago for the death of Tommy Cooper? My God, I feel old. Meanwhile, cops close in on assassin who fled on bus as $50 reward offered up. This is obviously from earlier on today or yesterday. The FBI are offering a $50,000 reward for any information that leads to the assassin's arrest as the man-up for the killer of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson enters its 4th day. I remember him dying on my birthday, oh dear. Watched that when he died on stage, says Dream Frequency. See, I didn't, because I didn't like shows like that, so I didn't watch it. Don't tell him, Alan, it's a ruse to find out your age. Don't say anything. Everton versus Liverpool postponed after safety fears over Storm Dara. Everton's Premier League clash against Liverpool at Goodison Park has been postponed due to the adverse weather conditions, with Storm Dara ripping through the UK. Everyone thought it was joking, thought it was part of the... I must admit, people say, that'd be how he wanted to go. I can't imagine anyone ever wanting to go. But you can imagine that, you're going to have a heart attack today. It might be in your bed, it might be on the toilet, it might be sat at home, it might be in a car, be on stage. You're going to die, which one would you want to do? He would have said on stage, but I don't think anyone wants to die. But, but anyway, Storm Dara ripping through the UK caused a postponement of Everton versus Liverpool. And but the match in Wigan, with Wigan Athletic and whoever, went ahead. And I'm like, hang on a minute, Goodison Park is pretty much surrounded by stands, whereas the brick, as it's called now, the DW, or JGB, depending on how old you are, it's got these gaps in the corners where the stands don't meet. So there's literally, you can literally get a crosswind going from corner to corner. So how the hell can you play football there when Everton and Liverpool postpone their match? Seemed bonkers. Anyway, Wigan lost, apparently. So I was right, should have cancelled it. Yeah, you see. I suffered a lifetime of pain, but doctors told me it was a punishment from God. The pain was so extreme that it left Carla Lewis questioning if she wanted to carry on living, and not being taken seriously by doctors made it even worse. Yeah, what kind of doctor says that? Probably the same kind of doctor who recommends you for assisted suicide. How did Tommy Cooper die? Just like that. That's an old one. Well, they have to be old. It's 40 years ago since he passed. Man who died briefly and medically brought back to life has argued in court that his life sentence had technically ended. And you're like, that's probably right. Because he died, but then he was brought back to life. So his life sentence ended. Yeah, no. But very peculiar indeed. And here we go. Check out the McDonald's menu from prices even from 1950. So we're talking about, that is genius true frequency, absolute genius. You mean I died? No, that means I finished. I can go home. Check out the McDonald's menu prices from the 1950. Are you ready for this? Oh, I thought it was going to come up then, but it didn't. Not the first time I've said that. Pure beef hamburger, 15 cents. A tempting cheeseburger, 19 cents. Triple thick shakes, 20 cents. Golden French fries, 10 cents. Thirst quenching Coke, 10 cents. Delightful root beer, 10 cents. Steaming hot coffee, 10 cents. Full flavour orange drink, 10 cents. And refreshing cold milk with grit in the bottom, 12 cents. But yeah, 15 cents for a hamburger, which at the time here would have been about, like sixpence. I'm not really into the old money. You don't think you've ever had a McDonald's? Oh, you've not lived. Mind you, probably live longer because you've not had a McDonald's. Yin yang. Sorry. Yeah. So that is it for the news that makes you go, which brings us up to the even more exciting breaking news, of which we appear to have much going on. Let's just get rid of that for a second and do this again. The camera, I keep moving the studio around and the camera keeps moving and it's getting a bit silly. Right then, so what's been breaking? Well, I've been breaking the news. DUP powers to enter bank account barred for one benefit. I've heard rumours that the DWP, Department of Work and Pensions, has said to people who are claimants that they have to bring their bank statements in to be looked at by them to make sure they're not squandering the money or saving the money, or they've got too much money in the bank accounts. Not even joking. And this is before we go to cashless society, which of course they want to do. So yeah, be warned. Keep cash alive. Oh dear. Tesco shares have gone down 2%. FTSE's gone down 0.39%. That's not good. FTSE 100 has gone down to 0.49%. That's just earnings and things like that, so we'll leave that. DUP state pension is set for £108 pay rise if they retired after a certain date. Mike Ashley says egotistical boohoo finder is destroying his business. Not Mike Ashley's business, boohoo. Levothyroxine linked to bone loss risk in seniors, a study finds. Rayner to give mayors more power over infrastructural projects. Zelensky reveals Ukraine's losses in the war so far. Britain hooked on immigration as desperate shortage of Brits builders cause a massive row. Basically Plonky Starmer wants to build 1 million houses in 4 years, but we haven't got enough builders to do that. Well, probably enough raw materials. So the whole thing is absolute nonsense. Plus nowhere to build them either, because unless you just completely get rid of the countryside, that's why he's trying to kill off the farmers. Think about it. Trump claims he'll target criminals for mass deportations, but also vows to end birthright citizenship. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know what that's from. Suella Braverman's husband joins reform in latest defection coup for Nigel Farage's party. Oh, that's interesting. Assad flees Syria as Keir Starmer welcomes end to barbaric regime, while Damascus celebrates. I just hope it's not short-lived. Bit like, people on the last leg were cheering and very happy when Labour won the election. They're not laughing now, are they? Sir Sadiq, London Mayor Sadiq Khan, reportedly in line for a prestigious knighthood. Yeah, right. Trump states aim to deport all illegal immigrants as US president, but could protect child migrants because they were guilty of treating child migrants really badly before. But would you want to be a child migrant and the rest of your family sent back to a country and you're left on your own with strangers? No. It's football, no one cares. Donald Trump, Prince William and Elon Musk attended the Notre Dame opening ceremony. The last of the petrol Jaguars, Rod Hull, drives one of the final F-Types cars before they go electric. Someone leaves Strictly Come Dancing, don't care. Labour accused of ghosting pensioners in fury over anti-OAP policies. Britain has never looked more exposed, adrift in the Atlantic in a world pulsing with perils. Heartbroken Britain stuck in housing nightmare as homes flooded for a second time in just 6 months. Prioritise people's needs over newts in housing policy, says Angela Rayner. Oh, so they're after the bloody newts now. Budget fails to tackle slow economic growth, says Labour. What? Welby says it was clear he had to quit after abuse report, but also talk shite about it as well. Over 200,000 UK homes left without power after Storm Dara misery. Exact date: snow will hit UK as Brits face for Christmas freeze after Storm Dara chaos. Good news, folks, we might have a white Christmas after all, but not if Keir Starmer's got anything to do with it. See what I did there? Labour's big majority is fragile and it has weak mandate for change, says a report. It doesn't have a mandate for change. As I've said many times before, they got 1 million less votes than they did under Corbyn. That is not a mandate to do what they're doing. Anyway, that is it. Well, it is. That's it, isn't it? That's it, mate. That's it, mate, yeah. So yeah, we've got 4 likes, we've had average of 9-10 views, we've only got 8, 25 views, average is 15.33, so that's going up a bit, but we've had more regulars on today. Alan Barton's made a welcome return, Andrew Emerson, Urban Blondes, Dream Frequency, Angela O'Kane, Calderdale Top Cat, I think that's it, yeah. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, if indeed you still are. Or listening, if indeed you still are. It's been a blast, as usual. So how long have we been on for? 59 minutes, oh there you go, perfect. I want to get it to an hour, because that just seems about the right length of time for this kind of thing. So yeah, we've had a laugh. And we've covered some right serious topics as well, so it's good. So what I like about this, it kind of, we go from one extreme to the other, and I like telling people what I think about things. Anyway, that's your lot. See you T, see you Andrew Emerson, Dream Frequency, Alan Barton, Angela, and everyone else. I will see you all next time. I will be seeing you. Until then, the cat's going to come up now, because she always does whenever I say this. Bye. Like a what? Rude.